Hi, I'm Katie Schisler, and I'm the music specialist at A.D. Stoll STEAM Elementary in Hannibal, Missouri. I was wondering, do you ever feel like an island? That you're the only one teaching your subject matter? As a music specialist, I certainly feel that way. Or maybe you want to try an arts integrated lesson and explore new ways of teaching, but you don't feel very familiar with the arts yet. You're not alone. Literally, you're not alone. I have the privilege to be part of an integrated STEAM school. What does that mean? Well, I have had the opportunity to co-teach with over 20 different teachers just in the last 3 years alone. I work side by side with grade level teachers, developing and teaching project-based units that last about 8 weeks. Implementing these projects through co-teaching gives us the opportunity to share our strengths while learning from each other. It also strengthens our building community, cultivating curiosity and thoughtfulness. I am excited to share some tools we have used to build a dynamic co-teaching experience. So with these 6 tools, let's build this together. Whether you and another teacher have talked about collaborating on a project, or you have been assigned with a teaching partner by your administrator, the tools for co-teaching are the same. The relationship you have with one another has to be foundational to building something strong. You don't have to be BFFs to make an effective team, but you do have to have a professional regard for each other. If you have nothing in common, perfect. You will both be able to bring unique ideas and strategies to the table to better engage students. Now that the foundation is laid, let's start building. Take a moment to download the handout and follow along as we take a look at our tools. Feel free to add notes to the handout to make these tools work specifically for you. Tool 1, planning together. With such busy and diverse schedules, this is always the most challenging, but it's a non-negotiable. You need it. If you are being put together by an administrator, hopefully they will create time for you to plan, either in the schedule or on a professional development day. If not, dedicate a few days before or after school to sit down and talk. Before your first co-teaching experience, have a few planning times. Meeting on a Friday and jumping into it on Monday will be overwhelming. Start a few weeks ahead, just getting together to talk ideas, and maybe map out a plan. Then take some time to think about ideas on your own. Return to the table with new perspectives to add and start considering the details of your lesson. This moves us to tool 2. Get on the same page. Literally, get on the same page. Share a Google Doc or other document that you can both write all your ideas and plans on collaboratively. Here you can have your schedule, lesson plan, materials, location, and who will take the lead during the parts of the lesson. Writing it down will give you an idea of what needs to be done ahead of time and whether the lesson is equitable. This will help alleviate misunderstandings and confusions. It will be easy to come back to in the midst of a lesson so you can keep everything on track. Tool 3, keep it 50-50. When you are teaching together, make sure you both get time to represent in the front. When you are preparing, split up the work. Perhaps one makes the presentation slides and the other makes copies of the handout. Respect each other's time and carry your weight. Tool 4, mix up the environments. Whether it is dividing the students into different groupings or learning in different classrooms, mixing up environments can keep the students on their toes and make them see both teachers in a balanced light. If you're always learning in the same classroom, one teacher will look dominant while the other simply seems like a guest. Also, don't only teach in your classroom. For example, If you are a visual arts teacher, don't just lead a class when the class is in your room. Try leading a lesson in their homeroom. Grade level teachers, try leading a lesson in the music room. And if it's your classroom, don't be afraid to share your domain. I assure you, students know who possesses what territory. Show them you can learn anything, anywhere. I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun to push the desks aside and do a folk dance in a classroom. Or write haiku poetry in the art room. Tool 5, RESPECT. Create a tone of respect in front of the students by allowing each other to lead with your strengths, respect behavior management styles, and deal with misunderstandings privately. Start with a united front. Instead of I and me, use we and us. Recognize the strengths of the person you're working with. Know when to shine and when to spotlight. When you are leading a lesson, shine, be confident, and take the floor. When the other teacher is leading, spotlight, be supportive, be directing your attention to them, and don't distract students from them. Interject, but don't interrupt. I often become as curious as the students. I will ask questions and ask for clarification. This can help the lesson continue in the right direction, as well as highlight the knowledge of your co-teacher. It will also encourage students to be part of the dialogue. Now, behavior management is probably where most conflicts will arise in co-teaching. Discuss your expectations ahead of time. You will find that they are very similar. However, your styles may be different. Be patient with each other. Don't step in when you think things are out of control. Respect the other teacher to know what they are doing. On the other hand, know each other's signals. Perhaps things are falling apart and you would appreciate some help. Just a look between you can say everything. I personally like to stick to the rules of the room. Whoever's room you're in, you follow those guidelines. Or, better yet, create a common language and set joint expectations. Co-teaching will feel different to the students, so they may need to know how it will all work. Creating co-teaching expectations is a good way to get you and them acclimated to the experience. And the other side of respect is dealing with misunderstandings privately. As my mother used to say, don't bring out your dirty laundry. In co-teaching, mistakes will be made. There will be misunderstandings. In such cases, you need to wait to discuss these issues when you are not in front of the students. If something's really bothering you, don't show it on your face or say terse comments under your breath. Take a moment, breathe, and finish the lesson. If it is important enough to discuss, find a time to talk about it that day. But don't attack. Treat each other with professional, you guessed it, respect. And even more than that, I think Elsa said it best, that sometimes you just need to let it go. Most of the time, when we are teaching, we are lord of our domain. We are in control. In co-teaching, you share that control, which means sometimes you may feel out of control at first. But the more you teach together, you will create a new rhythm that both of you will enjoy as long as you have mutual respect. Tool 6, reflect. After teaching together, take time to reflect on the lesson, the highs, the lows, what worked, what didn't. It can be short and sweet, like walking down the hall at the end of the day and laughing about something that bombed, or the reaction of a student, or something that really worked and you want to try it again. But there should also be scheduled time that you sit down and talk about it. Ask questions like, What did the students respond to? Was the goal of the lesson accomplished? What parts of the lesson were the students not as engaged? And did each teacher have the opportunity to equally contribute? Perhaps you can think of others you can add to your handout now. You should also go back to your shared Google Doc and type anything that will help the lesson next time. If you plan to do this year after year, please, please, please write detailed notes. The future you will love you for it. Now that we have looked at 6 tools in co-teaching, let's start building. Right now, find a Post-it or notepad or scrap piece of paper, anything to write on. Take a moment to think about who you are co-teaching with or who you would like to co-teach with. Let's pull out tool 5, respect. As you think about that person, write the words, I appreciate, and finish the statement with a strength that that person has. If that is easy to do, awesome. If it's a struggle, then this is a great exercise for you. After you have written it down, pull off the Post-it or notebook, sheet, or scrap of paper and give it to that person. Put it on their desk in the morning. Let them know it's from you. Use that tool to build a bridge and strengthen your partnership. Now, please take a moment to look at the 6 tools on your handout and circle one that you are going to work on this week. Write a note to the side about how you specifically want to do that. Keep this handout handy and share it with your co-teacher. Discuss some of the tools together. Perhaps even add new tools you create to your toolbox together. If you have any new tools to share or questions, please feel free to reach out to me. As you can guess, I love to collaborate and would love to connect with you. Co-teaching can enrich your teaching, stretch you, take you out of your comfort zone, give you an ally in the classroom, and breathe new life into your lessons. But more than anything, co-teaching can bring joy to you and your students. Now you have a box full of tools to get started or reinforce your co-teaching experience. With planning, getting on the same page, sharing the load equally, mixing up the environments, using respect, and reflecting, you will be able to build amazing learning experiences for your students together.